Dinesh, we want to know your opinion on me, not what's on your laptop and how they maybe blackmailed you, okay? That's not what we're interested in, Dinesh D'Souza. And he's like, well, I meant that as a joke. You didn't mean it as a joke. You meant it seriously, and it was weird. It got weird very quickly.
I'm telling you, guys. I'm telling you, Candace is fucking good, dude. Candace is good at this. How can you not like Candace? And like I said, I like Candace for an entirely different reason than most of you fucking idiots like Candace. And it has nothing to do with Candace's search for truth or her ability to show the truth and to expose the lies. Candace is fucking, that is a smart person. And she's fucking funny sometimes. What was Josh Hammer referencing when he tweeted on September 9th at 8:05 p.m. based in response to Trump's tweet saying, should be public execution for all to see. You will end this bullshit fast. Depends on who you ask. Depends on who you ask. If you ask Candace's band of misfit retards, this would be him calling for public executions against Charlie Kirk, I guess. But is that really what he's talking about? Let's see. What does Candace say? Shall we? Let's just take a look. Candace's tweet earlier today on October 8th at 1:29 says, there is not a single shred of proof that you can produce that Josh Hammer was referring to Iryna. Not one. Not even his own public statements about Iryna's murder. There was no new information about her murder that day, so it wasn't even trending. You were just covering for him and it won't work. There was absolutely nothing new about Iryna on September 9th, right, Candace? Now, let's jump into how I know Candace is full of shit, because Candace isn't stupid. So Candace would know that on September 9th, that the suspect was fucking charged for the murder that day. Every media outlet was covering it. Let's look at the charging documents right here, shall we? Page 1, United States of America versus DeCarlos DeJuan Brown Jr. What's the date? Filed Charlotte, North Carolina, September 9th, 2025. There were a lot of people talking about this. What makes you say that? He could have been talking about something else. Well, maybe. But let's click on Donald Trump's tweet. What do we see? Well, that's weird. September 10th. What's the time of this tweet? 12:39 a.m. September 10th. Oh, look, there's another one. Did Charlie, by any chance, tweet about anything that day referencing Iryna? At 7:22 p.m., one of Charlie's last tweets. The left accuses conservatives of racializing the death of Iryna, whatever her last name is, while literally making sure to capitalize the word black while not capitalizing the other, inferior color of white. They are a pack of liars who have racialized quite literally everything in America since at least 2014, but really since long before that. They're not mad we're talking about race. They're just mad their white guilt spell is no longer working. Enough. So even Charlie Kirk, Candace, your friend, is talking about Iryna on September 9th at 7:22 in the evening that day. But nothing happened that day, right? No new information came out that day, Candace? Isn't that what you said? There was no new information about her murder that day? It's easy to pick apart this bullshit. It is so easy to do. And she's got most of you by the balls. It's fucking hilarious to watch. I'm actually in awe of Candace Owens. Some of you think like I'm hating on Candace. Quite the opposite. I am becoming a Candace Owens fan, just for different reasons than what most of you morons are fans of hers for. Let's see what Candace says on her show today, shall we? Does she double down on there was no new information that day? Here we go.
Should be public execution for all to see. You will end this bull fast. And Josh Hammer just replies and says, based, you can see. We are in Central Time.
I just want to say for the record that Trump's tweet on April 19th, 2013 was in fact based.
So that's about 9:05 p.m. Eastern time. Now, what is the justification for this? There might be one. I tried in earnest to at first rationalize it, right? What could have been going on that Josh Hammer decided to dig through the 2013 Twitter archives and retweet someone calling for a public execution? Well, I'll let one of the many Zionist PR agents explain it first. Yashar Ali, who, like I said, is quite literally paid to do PR for Zionists. I know this personally on the right and on the left. Tried to explain it away by kind of lying, I would say. He tried to claim definitively that Josh was referring to the criminal who horrifically murdered the Ukrainian refugee, Iryna Zarutska, in North Carolina. That was obviously a big story in the beginning of September. Yashar Ali wrote this. Last night, Candace Owens tweeted notorious neo-Nazi Sam Parker, who pointed out that Josh Hammer, who is Jewish and was a friend of Charlie Kirk's, elevated a Trump tweet from 2013 the day before, which called for public executions. Candace, of course, would like people to believe that Josh's quote tweet is suspicious in the context of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. But Josh was just sharing what many conservatives were sharing and stating the day before. That's because they were talking about the horrific murder of Iryna Zarutska. This is where I say that no civilized nation uses the death penalty, in parentheses, referring to his own thoughts. Now, another user then jumped on that and tried to establish a non-fact that the footage of Iryna's murder was released on that day, on the 9th, and that's why Josh...
Okay, I know for a fact that somebody in that thread references he was charged that day. She doesn't pick that. She picks the one who says that the video footage came out. Just watch.
Tweeted that. All of this is factually untrue. Okay, Iryna was murdered on August 22nd. Her perpetrator was arrested that same day, and the footage was released and trended on X on September 5th. Josh himself sent multiple tweets regarding the homicide, as everyone did, because, like I said, it was trending. And when he was asked specifically about punishment, criminality, perhaps that her perpetrator should face, Josh, at no point that I could determine, whether he was on the news, whether he was on his own show or anywhere else, did he speak about the death penalty or, you know.
What else was reported that day? When they reported that, what else was reported? Shall we take a look? The federal charge carries a maximum statutory sentence of life in prison or death per the DOJ. Attorney General Pam Bondi said in a statement, Iryna was a young woman living the American dream. Her horrific murder is a direct result of failed soft-on-crime policies that put criminals before innocent people. We will seek the maximum penalty for this unforgivable act of violence. He will never again see the light of day as a free man. Trump demands death penalty for Charlotte stabbing suspect. I don't care what he says about anything the days before that this news broke. When he was officially charged, it was put in the media, and everywhere was Trump calling for the death penalty.
A public execution. Instead, as you will see, and we will show you Josh in his own words, he spoke about the double standards surrounding the media coverage of her murder and really the topic of criminality more broadly and safety in America. Take a listen to what Josh said.
You know, Gabrielle, I'm a lawyer by training, and I remember my first year of law school back in 2013 when I was taking criminal law. This is kind of the beginning of kind of the left's kind of foray into so-called criminal justice reform, and even back then, there's a lot of chatter among my more liberal classmates about how, you know, incarceration and prisons and locking people up, you know, how all of this is just racist. It's kind of like it is an old kind of symbol of a white patriarchal, colonialist, imperialist society there, and how the ultimate goal is basically to defund the prisons. And then, you know, if some people are going to commit some violent crimes, you know, essentially let the chips fall where they may. Well, you know, this is letting the chips fall where they may. But most American people have not lost their minds. Most American people stand where Donald Trump stands, which is that they want basic safety. And
I don't disagree that we all want basic safety. I just don't hear him. And like I said, I've looked for it ever even calling for the death penalty in those days that were leading up. So I decided to do what I always do.
And then what else does he do? What does he do the day of Charlie Kirk is shot? Should we go look? Oh, on 8:18 in the morning. Looks like he reposted something from JD Vance. Daniel Penny prevented this from happening on a New York City subway. Instead of thanking him, many hated him for it. A little bit of a grift there. A little bit of a grift. Here it is. 5:57. Public execution. What do you suppose he's referring to? Oh, we got Candace's band of misfit retards here. What do you suppose that's in reference to? Probably to whoever it was that shot and killed Charlie Kirk, as he was saying that President Trump's tweet about public executions was based the day that the charges came down on the killer of Iryna.
And I can tell you that it is not something that Josh Hammer regularly tweets about or discusses. The first time that he tweeted about a public execution was back in 2013.
Nope, that was Trump that talked about that back in 2013. Candace?
And he said it in reference, in 2022. And he said it in reference to the Boston.
Oh, crazy. So he's mentioned public executions before involving heinous crimes like the murder of innocent people? Oh, you don't say.
Marathon bombing terrorist account. Oh, sorry, the Uvalde shooter.
Boy, she's fucking tripping all over her words here. This is unlike Candace.
Shooter is apparently
maybe because she knows she's being disingenuous.
Pure evil would have been another ideal time for a public execution. So to be clear, that makes sense, right? He is in the moment and he is saying, I'm having a visceral reaction to the idea of another school being shut out.
And then it has another visceral reaction after his friend Charlie Kirk is fucking murdered.
Having another school shooting. And for that reason, I am saying that this would have been an appropriate scenario for a public execution. Emotions are running high. You are visceral. And you're learning things. You're seeing and you're learning those things in the moment. As I said, that would make sense in its context. I also want to remind you that Josh Hammer is a lawyer by training. He was at one point the editor-at-large of the Daily Wire, and he is currently the senior editor-at-large at Newsweek's. Plus, he hosts his own show. My point that I'm making here is he knows how to communicate. Okay, this is not some random guy on Twitter who doesn't know that if you haven't tweeted all day about something, you can't just throw out tweets about public executions without contextualize them, right? He certainly understands.
No, you definitely can. You can pretty much tweet when and however you want to. You don't need to contextualize everything you tweet. You just don't. That's a stupid claim. And that's the only type of argument she has on this, because she's fucked.
You don't just send out a standalone tweet at 9:00 p.m. and everyone's just going to go.
All he did was say based in reference to Donald Trump calling for public executions against criminals, not innocent fucking people. This is awesome. This makes me so happy. I can't believe somebody who is grifting off of the death of Charlie Kirk is now going to call out somebody else for grifting off of the death of Charlie Kirk. I love this.
You know, you held on my book, Israel and Civilization. What the last words I think Charlie spoke to me were, he literally said, Josh, when the Israel question comes up, I'm just going to plug your book, Israel and Civilization, because I think that what you read in the book basically is how I feel as well. And
this might be true. This might be true. I wouldn't want to try to defend those questions either. I would much rather just point to somebody else and get on to the next question.
And remarkably, he is going to work. I swear he's going to work in his book again. Take a listen.
Precise use.
No, I believe
you mentioned.
I absolutely believe he's going to grift this book again.
No,
correctly. So white men.
What are we talking about? Everybody is grifting off of this. Everybody.
To the extent.
There's money to be made. There's political points to be had from this. There's so much grifting. And there's such a short amount of time to get the grift in. Because people's attention spans are fucking like goldfish, man.
That you are willing to get out there.
Unless, of course, you can really captivate an audience. Then you can really milk it. If you have carrots you can dangle, the proverbial carrots, and you can dangle that shit, well, then you can milk it. You can really drag it out, can't you, Candace?
And work to serve really his book, to sell his book, to serve his interests, which are very clearly Israel. You're cool. You know, no one's going to call you an anti-Semite. Everything can be cool. To the extent that you, I don't know, maybe don't want to do that, you will be ruined. Matt Gaetz, what was he thinking? It's crazy. Like, what on earth was Matt Gaetz thinking? It was great when he was out there pitching Josh Hammer's book, and now he can't be saved. But then, and this is where it gets important, Josh Hammer gets even more specific, addressing the question if Charlie was beginning to crack on his support for Israel. Let's not forget, we already know the answer to this is yes.
Was Charlie beginning to crack on his support for Israel? Or was Charlie beginning to crack on his support for the current war in Israel? Believe it or not, those are two different things. And I would like more context to those messages, because I believe that Charlie was drifting away from supporting the war effort. I think that's what he's talking about when he's referring to the pro-Israel cause. I do not believe that Charlie was turning away from Israel completely. There were many Americans who supported America after 9/11, but did not support the war in Iraq. Many. That did not mean they were turning against America. Charlie was very supportive of the Israel cause after October 7th. And then as time went on, Charlie became less and less supportive. Charlie even went to Trump, right, to warn him about going to war with Iran. I think you can be pro-Israel, but be against what they're currently doing. I think some aren't capable of that. I think some have to defend it no matter what, but I think others are perfectly capable of it. And I think Charlie was one of those people.
Inviting Charlie to Israel 2 weeks before he dies, right? Nobody will address that Charlie said no. He did. He said no. He didn't flinch. He wasn't even flinching. He was.
Okay, so if Charlie said no, why did Charlie say no? Have we gotten any facts on why Charlie said no? That he wasn't going to go to Israel? Was the timing not right? Was he just not able to do it at that time? Did he talk to them about rescheduling and wanting to do it? What do we know about this? Is if somebody could show me anything factual on that conversation of why he declined, let me know.
Just busy and couldn't make it out to Israel or something. Now, I will say that regarding Rabbi Waliki.
Oh, is that
right?
Nobody
Candace, will address that Charlie.
Does Candace say it?
He said no. He did. He said no. He didn't flinch. He wasn't even flinching. He was just busy and couldn't make it out to Israel or something. Now,
okay. Well, maybe he was. If anybody has any evidence to the contrary of he was just busy and couldn't make it out there, I'd be happy to see it. Take a look.
I will say that regarding Rabbi Waliki, I think he has more of a conscience and soul than Josh Hammer. I haven't seen him promoting his book. He doesn't lie as audaciously and as repeatedly and tweets nearly as neurotically as Josh Hammer does.
Turning on Israel?
Look, Lidar, I was in touch with Charlie on an almost daily basis for months. And he certainly had some disagreements with Israeli policy. And he criticized Israel where he felt appropriate. He sometimes believed things, like a lot of people do, that are out there in the media. And that was really the substance of our relationship, was checking on things and finding out the truth. But that doesn't mean that he was immune to the negative sentiments that were out there. And there were a lot of people around him in the America First movement who were actively working on him to try to get him to turn on Israel. But the real answer to your question is the meeting that I had with him. And the entire purpose of the meeting, called by Charlie called this meeting, and it was on our schedule for weeks, was that he was going out on a campus tour. Utah was the first stop on his new campus tour. And what a lot of people in Israel do not realize, or in the pro-Israel community do not realize, is that between 40 and 50% of all of the questions and challenges that he would get on these campus tours were usually about Israel. Because the campuses, of course, have a lot of anti-Israel sentiment, and Charlie was known as a supporter of Israel. So he ended up being in a position where he was defending Israel all the time. And it drove him crazy because he wanted to talk about America, but he was defending Israel all the time. So in preparation for this new campus tour, he called a meeting of a few people that he trusted to talk about Israel issues and to anticipate the questions that he would be getting, the challenges that he would be getting on this campus tour.
Perfect fucking
and to make
sense.
sure that he had the truth and that he could formulate answers that he was comfortable with. If Charlie had turned on Israel, why would he even bother with a meeting like that? Why would he call a meeting with a few pro-Israel friends of his to talk through Israel issues, to make sure that his facts were straight and his talking points were straight so that he could defend Israel better? If he was turning on Israel, he would have had Candace, Owens, and Tucker Carlson in the meeting planning to throw Israel under the bus. The entire premise of the meeting refutes that theory.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But logic and reason, I don't give a shit what you want to call me. I don't care. I am not a Jew. I am not a shill. I am not being paid anything, let alone shekels, for my opinions. Nobody's watching my stuff. I get a few thousand views at best. All right. But logic, that's what I look for. I don't look for feel-good things. I listen, and then I use logic and reason to draw conclusions. I don't have a conclusion set that I try to fucking point to.
Back when I was within the Zionist movement and waking up and realizing something was dangerously wrong when they started to try to control my voice, it's unbelievable. It's really unbelievable to reflect on that. Now, I would say again, Rabbi Walicki, more of a soul. He's at least acknowledging that something was going on, right? I don't think he would have been comfortable pulling the Josh. He was great. It was amazing. Buy my book, right? He loved every second. He's amazing. Oh my God, he just wished he could have gone over.
I can't believe this woman has me on here defending somebody like Josh Hammer, which I'm really not. I'm just like, he can fuck off too. You know what I mean? Somebody grifting, trying to sell his book. Like, yeah, slimy, gross, disgusting. Call it what you want to call it. But he's not getting the views Candace is. And she's the one talking about him. She's the one who's giving him all of this attention. 90% of the people that are listening to Candace never even heard of Josh Hammer until Candace brought him up. So in that sense, Candace, are you getting a cut of those book sales? Is there a back end deal there, Candace? You going to bring Josh Hammer up? Of all the people to talk about, Josh Hammer? And then you're going to spend, 20 minutes of a video talking about his book? See how we can do that? See how easy it is to just kind of maybe spin something?
Charlie announces that.
Holy fuck, this is such a long video.
This is not like a dinner. Most probiocs do not.
Oh, these ad reads. Holy shit. Get them. Get it, Candace. Get that money.
I'm looking. Also, they're so.
She's
if people
fucking not one thing about Charlie Kirk or any evidence or proof. Candace, where's all this proof at? Why are you wasting time? Why are you dangling the carrot? Now she's looking for footage from UVU. Zionist lobby. Oh, look.
This morning, they sent out Dinesh D'Souza after me. It was very, very convincing, by the way. He sent out a tweet to convince people they shouldn't watch me. He said, "I can't comment on Candace because it's quite obviously a freak show. It's like driving on the highway and seeing a farmer having sex with a sheep. You don't want to look, but you can't look away either. The problems begin when you try to analyze it."
Yo,
it is what it is.
The fuck? How does Dinesh D'Souza have any followers? Who likes this guy? How does he have like, how is he relevant?
And I love that Yashar Ali replies and says, this is what I mean. These are the people who are supposed to be combating Candace Owens. Instead, they tweet stuff like this. Yeah, hi, Dinesh. Kind of weird, man. We cannot relate. I got to tell you, if I ever was in this awful scenario
Get him,
where
Candace.
I saw a farmer trying to have sex with a sheep, I feel very much that I could not only look away, but I could call the police. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
if
I would say most people would fucking, out of shock and awe, have to cover their face. I can't imagine there's going to be a lot of people that can't look away from that. What the fuck is he talking about?
that's kind of what you're selling. You know how, like, when you can't look away from bestiality? Dinesh, we want to know your opinion on me, not what's on your laptop and how they maybe blackmailed you, okay? That's not what we're interested in, Dinesh D'Souza. And he's like, well, I meant that as a joke. You didn't mean it as a joke. You meant it seriously, and it was weird. It got weird very quickly.
I'm telling you, guys. I'm telling you, Candace is fucking good, dude. Candace is good at this. How can you not like Candace? And like I said, I like Candace for an entirely different reason than most of you fucking idiots like Candace. And it has nothing to do with Candace's search for truth or her ability to show the truth and to expose the lies. Candace is fucking, that is a smart person. And she's fucking funny sometimes.
We learned more about you than we learned about me. That seems to be the circumstance. It's like a complete boomerang. But yeah, they're really starting to scrape the bottom of the barrel and finding people that are into some weird stuff. So I would say, I think Dinesh D'Souza, if he thought that that was going to be relatable and convince people, yeah, I totally relate. Yeah, it's like, you just can't look away from that stuff when you see it. That did not happen. That did not happen. Now,
all right, that's enough. That's enough. I got the point I wanted to make in this video, and that's Candace is killing it. Candace is doing a great job, man. She is just stringing people along. The more Candace does this, she's going to lie. She's going to continue to lie or manipulate. And I'm going to keep catching it, and I'm going to keep putting it out there. Because at this point, it's like a side hobby for me. It's fun to catch Candace in her lies. And then just to look and see how many people are just like, they'll go to any means they can to just like look away. You know what I mean? Like, oh crap, there's evidence that she's lying. No, she's not. Remember this tweet? Remember this tweet thread? That does the tweet thread. Remember the tweet thread? What about the video where she was clearly lying and manipulating about Tyler Robinson not saying the word vehicle when he does? Look at this tweet thread. Look at this tweet thread. Candace will wait. There'll be something else. Candace will set it up and then she'll drop it. It won't be relevant. It won't be anything like that's a bombshell on the murder of Charlie Kirk or who did it or why. It'll just be some other little lie that she catches somebody in and she'll be like, whoop, here's my proof. And then they'll go fucking nuts again. And then she can keep spinning and saying, you know what I mean? Nah, Candace is good. Catch you guys in the next one.